Hey everybody, how's it going? Stephanie Ani, artist here in Concord, California, doing the quick intro page. I try to keep it quick, doesn't really work. I end up talking too much, like I am now. Quick intro page for the Gemstone Drop, Part 2. Now the reason why I'm doing an intro for this is because the video got cut off right as the glue was drying. And you didn't really get to see a good final picture of the piece. And so I wanted to make sure that you were able to see how it turned out. The purple is really beautiful and rich, and the browns are a gorgeous sable color. I just really do love it. The stones are from Michael's in their jewelry section. Hopefully that's coming in somewhat there. I took some copper wire that I also got in that jewelry section and just wire wrapped it. Wire wrapped it and put it in a frame. So I am doing a companion video, my Back to Basics, which will come out after this video. But the Back to Basics explains how to make the frame and all the different things that you can do with it. This basic layout is a jump off for at least 20 different ideas that you could easily do within your altered book. I am not here for you to copy what I'm doing. I'm here for you to learn and to experiment and to play and to see and use your imagination. I want to give you the tools to learn. Okay. This cool thing that I ended up making so randomly while I was making this video here, I'm trying to show you it in the book. It's not wanting to work. Okay. This guy I think is so cool that I'm not going to use it in my Back to Basic book. I'm going to use it in my main book. I have 2 pages left to do after I finish the cityscape. The cityscape I probably have at least another 6 hours on. At least. It's almost done though, and it's so worth all the work. But I've made mistakes on that, and I've had to redo whole pages of buildings. Whole pages of buildings. It happens. It happens. I try to push every piece as far as I can to make it as good as possible. That means you don't stop at easy. Unless it's perfect at easy. Sometimes it can be really perfect at easy, and that is good. It's great if that happens. So again, in this video you will see the mistakes. If you don't want to watch the mistakes, please fast forward through them. If you don't like the length of the videos, please feel free to hit the little gear that's underneath the video, and that gear you can make it go up to 2 times faster. And I've already sped up all of the video. Even the parts where I'm talking, it's at like a 25% speed up. So you get to skip all my pauses. 2 pages left on the book, then the front and back. And then I can start doing something else, because I have been driven to finish this book. I hope you've enjoyed the videos. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, and add to playlists. If you do that, YouTube's algorithms will share my content with more and more people. It does make a difference. I know y'all get tired of hearing it, but please do me a favor. If you do enjoy the video, please let me know. Please. Thank you so much for the support that everybody has already given me. I really do enjoy hearing your comments, and a lot of times I wake up and I have something nice to read, and it makes me happy. It brightens my step and lets me know that I'm on the right path. So, thank you. I do appreciate it. Okay, everybody, I hope you have a great evening. I hope you enjoyed the video. And, Oh, just to let you know, this video does start out where I am watching a movie. But that's only for a short time. Then I will start talking, I think within about 4 minutes in. I'm just putting on the base ephemera layer, so it's not really something that you need to watch. I start to paint it, and then I pause the movie, and then I put you on record again. And you get to hear all the crazy stuff I'm thinking. Alright. Take care, my lovelies. We'll chat soon. Okay. Bye.
Father's giving me strength. You understand, boy? You're about to take the full force of the star. It'll kill you. And if I die? Yes, that's what killing you means.
Okay. I got down the base layer of ephemera, and the reason why I decided to put this in is because when I was working with this, it just had something missing underneath. Now, I don't hate this, I don't mind it, but to me, there was just something missing, and this, to me, is what it was missing. So, remember this page has gesso. This page has the base layer. And now I've started to color it. And I have decided that I want to go with rich reds, blues, no, I'm sorry, not blues. Red, oranges, browns underneath. This is walnut stain. This can be pretty dark. I want a dark underneath. I'm looking for a contrasting color to the blue, which is going to be red or orange, in that range. I want also something that's not going to compete, but still looks incredible on this end. So my fire page was done very similarly to this. Let's get this stuff out of the way. My space is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, once again. Just need somebody to come behind me and pick up everything that I don't pick up. That would be handy. Alright, let's see if I've got any red in here or pink. Tattered Rose is going to be way too light. I have that bronze spray, which I don't think I want to use on this underneath because I want to keep everything as crisp as possible, but we will try some of this picked raspberry. Picked raspberry, yes. Now I'm using the water. Oh, that's just beautiful. Okay. Using water-soluble ink, I'm going to put the crackle paste over the top of it once again. This is kind of a study in different colorings and how to get, you know, I need to stay congruent, or, you know, it has to make sense. And it makes sense completely for me, to stay with kind of this same theme. I mean, you can have all sorts of different themes to your book, right? Theme to a book can be circus, fired brick. I'm going to put a little fired brick in here because this is a great color. And if this comes through anything like the orange, can you imagine how this is going to look? I want a little bit more area dark. Trying to create contrast. Okay. Let's study in stencil and paste. But it's also a lot of other things too. So, shall we use a different stencil, or should we use the however you say that word? I think that I want to stay with the same stencil. It's kind of my favorite, and I'm loving the technique with it, so we're going with it. One more time, folks. Look at that. Look at how that's going to look over there. Yes, 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 yes. It makes me want to just cut this stencil down the middle. I'm not lying. I want to cut it down the middle. I will buy another one of these. Okay. See? That way you can get into the crevices. Just makes sense. This is a creaky chair. Oh, this guy's pretty beat up. Old credit card. See if it works better than the palette knife. But now that this is nice and flat, it's going to be much better. Right? Look at, oh, don't move. The only thing I'm going to be really sad about is with my jelly press. I love using this stencil with my jelly press. And since my jelly press is 12 by 12, it fit perfectly on it. But as a stencil, I think it cost $12. I'll put the link in the description for it. It's perfect for me. And this will fit with my classical theme that I have kind of going here. As you can see, the ink is already pulling in. Dang it, come on. And since I had the purple damask, the purple Baroque page, this is going to be the red Baroque page. It just, I have to continue, I feel I need to continue that from one page to the next. And what's going to be on the back side of this is going to be really cool. So many fun things to do and to show you. This one won't be done until tomorrow, obviously, if I can wake up early enough to do it before I go to work. To get the jewels installed. I'm going to leave that on. I'm just going to leave that puppy on. Okay, you booger. Texture paste is really difficult to cut through, so I actually do suggest having your holes cut before. On the other hand, it's kind of nice to have the remaining tags left over from it, so yeah, it's all a personal choice. I do think that the texture paste kind of dries rock hard, and that's why I'm pretty careful about where I get it. That's also why you go and clean off your stencils right off the bat, if you remember. You know, my hands might be in the way here. I'm sorry about that. Let's get this down. Alright, I'm gonna go dump these in. Hold on here just a second. Okay, I just went and cleaned the stencil. And now I'm going to carefully, hopefully, not stick the contaminated, not stick my hands in it, first and foremost. Good God, try to clear out some of these crevices, because that's not good. Still needs a book to close. Doing pretty good here. Okay, this page is a little bit of a sopping mess. Oh, that's smart. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, jeez. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. There. I want it to dry as flat as I can. Because this page will get glued in there in the middle. I just hope it keeps pulling up that ink like it should as it dries. I can come back afterwards, add more color to the top of it, which is probably what I'll do. You know, I've been squirting a little bit of spray on after. Well, I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to add a whole bunch more into there. All right, so I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to watch the rest of my movie. What time is it? I don't know, it's 8 or 9. I need to do my dinner dishes, soak my foot. See the difference with the wording underneath? I like that. Fetish. Boring. Closed. Bitch. Oh, there's a bubble. Don't need bubbles. Dang it. So again, this texture paste is really loose, and the you know, you get some tight spots, but you know, it does do a lot of smearing underneath. That's okay though. I do like how that turns out in the long run. Do you want that to dry flat? Without folds. I wipe off my hands and I get more glick on my hands than before. Okay, so that side, you know, it just is all covered with stuff. Hey, hey, good morning. What time is it? It's like 7 o'clock. So this color, I can't say that I love, but what I did do, the reason why the gold is a little bit duller is that I did go through and hit it with, I did hit it with a couple of walnut stain sprays. And the reason why I opted to do that, and it was a conscious choice, is I just didn't want it to be as bright as what it was turning out to be. So we're going to have to just color on this a little bit. We're going to see if we can bring back a little bit more of that gold, which it is coming right back up. This was the page that I had originally sanded this on. So, just kind of seeing what happens by doing it with this guy. I'm not doing a ton. I'm not doing nearly as much as what happened last time. And the background on this is a bit brown. Yes. So we need to adjust the coloring for sure. The crackle did turn out beautiful though. And remember, now we have gesso down on this page, so it's going to be pretty good. Canvas for the colors, whatever colors we put in there. Now, how do we feel about this page? Let's see. Sorry, first drink of coffee right there. Let's see if we can't bring this guy back just a little bit here. Oh, sorry. be mean to it. Or if you are going to be mean to it, don't just do it in little bits. You know, do it and see what happens. Come back. If you want to do it again, do it again. I kind of like this transition that happens here. It's like a deconstructing of the paint. However, I could go back in and let's just do this real quick. This is the gesso that's behind there though, so I don't think it'll get any more color change. Okay. Lots of things to slide in there. Just take some fired brick. I did leave that open on purpose. It's pretty. It feels really brassy. I don't want to add a color to it that's going to mess with it too much, I suppose, but I guess I'm softening. I'm liking what's happening, even though I'm kind of surprised because it's adding schmear feel to it. Maybe over here I want the schmear. Transition, a little bit of definition, a little adjust. Oh, that's really actually quite pretty. It feels like it's got a little bit much on there. A darker corner would be good. And lighter corner. Just adjusting the gold. Do I put blue in it? Do I? Huh? Where's one of my lids? Oh, God. I like that. That was a good addition. Now, I kind of just think I need to leave this be. It'll grow on me. I'm not in absolute love with it, but we've got a lot here. What do you think, peeps? I think that's a very worthy background for that. So I've cut this narrow enough to where the outside edges of the frame, the inside edges will, you'll see the cardboard. Remember, that's why I took it so dark. And the outside edges of the frame will fold to meet each other. So you can't use a super thick piece of cardboard when you do this. Use a thinner piece. Okay. You can tell I'm a little hesitant on this. But I think the thing that I'm the most hesitant about is I don't feel like this page is done. Let's play with it just 2 more seconds and see if I can't adjust something here that makes it feel better. Oh, okay. Oh, wow, gelato's over this stencil. Looks pretty amazing. Then I am just doing it in pieces and parts because I don't want it all one color ever. little something extra. But what if we adjusted it down to where it makes kind of a ghost? This has always had so many points, it's always been difficult to work with. Worked. It did work. Let's see here. Okay, go here. Pick up a little bit of that top. That had to be that way. What was there? What was there? Oof. Let's find some interference in here. beauty sponges. I'm not liking this sponge. Where's the stipple brush? Please don't let stuff fall off. No stipple brush. Okay. Ugh. This is not a stipple brush, but it's close. So the same type of action that a stipple brush would have. We're just going in here and bringing back some highlights. Just a touch. This stencil may have been used a bit too much. It's just not sitting down at all anymore. But I use it often, so it's a popular tool. Kind of cool. That's good. I like that. Yeah, some white on in here, didn't I? Okay, see if I can find it again. Where's that? It's just a dark blue Sharpie. And it's really not wanting to do much on this fabric here. Oh, it's doing some though. Just wanting to have just a touch more definition in here. Because I want this to be, you know, mostly complete before I put those stones in here. You know? I love it when my alarm does that to me. Oh, hey, let's move this. Let's just put it in the trash. If I need to pull it out later, I can. That's just not good. You know, I wish I could be doing this with paint instead of a Sharpie, because this Sharpie is a little tired here. Okay. I need more coffee. I don't use black very often, honestly. It was not allowed in art school for the most part, straight black. I felt it was a dead color. I felt that it wouldn't, and it's true, that if you mix a black out of, well, anytime you mix opposites on the color wheel, you get brown. Then you mix the third color on the color wheel, opposite of that, and you get, we can do some color mixing one of these days, a little color theory. Color theory is a really good thing to know. You can really save a behind. So I'm not looking for perfection here. I am just looking for some definition. I don't like how smeared that got. And I'm just taking in this really nice navy color. Hopefully I'm adding to the piece by doing this, because it's time consuming. Look how we're able to push those darks in there too. What that is that's the second page underneath. That's the glued page. Because these frames were each made out of 2 pages. Right? 2 pages glued together. Make a sturdy page. Almost any time where I'm working, if I'm working on a page, it'll be 2 pages glued together. This is the way it is. This is what it is. You gotta have a minimum of 2 pages to have a decent, get the right leverage to work on it, you know? I like that. I like what's happening. It's finally doing what I think I need it to do. Now, could I just put my stencil over it and stipple this? Yeah, I could. I'm just not a pro stenciler. So this way, if you're really good at stenciling, then push some darks back into it. Absolutely, go for it. It's going to save you a heck of a lot of time. I was asked a question the other day about copyright. And I did do a little extra research on it after finding it out. And, you know, basically it is. Anytime you use somebody else's image without their permission, you're coming into a copyright issue. Now, for me, I use a lot of Victorian images, and although some of those are copyright, I'm sure somebody owns the rights to those photos. You know, like Tim Holtz, Ranger, I'm sure they own the copyrights to those old photos. You know, whoever's parents those are, whoever's families that is, you know, they hold the rights to. So to copyright that, or to use something like that, but you know, they're making it for something for you to sell. Would they be happy if you were making, you know, it's always such a fine line. So let's not talk about that, because I don't know. You know, if you purchase something and then you make it and then you resell it, you know, say you made a coffee cup with the, you know, one of the postcard images on it or something like that, and you're selling thousands of them online with a Tim Holtz saying, would they come after you for copyright? Could they? Probably, because you're mass producing something that isn't your property. So even though you bought it for personal use, did you buy it for distribution? You know, it's hard to say. My guess is that they could most likely come after you. My Victorian images, copyrights generally fall off after 50 years or 100 years, depending. So I like to think with the Victorian images that hopefully they are not copyright. Any image that you find in a magazine is copyright. That's somebody else's property. Now, there's a saying about altering a piece X amount. You know, there's definitely photos that I've used off of the internet that are newer and not vintage. And would that person have a copyright claim? I don't know, because I've altered images when I do my dual run-throughs, or the only time that I really use those. I've used some steampunk images. Hopefully I've altered them enough to where not an issue. And it's concerning. But, you know, if you're using directly images out of a magazine, you know, as mixed media, you like to think you're just repurposing something and showing it in a new light and all of those things to justify that you're using somebody else's property. And it's a fine sticky line, you know. So does the altering count? If anybody out there is actually a lawyer or has, you know, a husband, wife's a lawyer, who has an actual legal opinion on this, would love to hear from you, because, you know, you go online and you know, it definitely is not a friendly place as far as, you know, what people do with their images. You know, is using just a small portion of an image okay? Technically, I don't know. I don't know if I'm helping or hurting this, you know. Kind of at this point, I'm just kind of futzing to see if I can't make it better. Let's just make that nice and dark through there. I would definitely hate to have somebody come up to my pieces and say, wow, oh, that's my artwork that you're using underneath of there. That's my image you stole from me. You say, oh, but I put your name right here. That doesn't matter. You have to have the permission of the person to use the artist's name if you're taking a piece and directly copying it, for sure. Anyway, not that that matters to a lot of artists. You know, they'll say don't use copyrighted products, you know, because China likes to copy things. You know, but it goes beyond that, guys. It goes beyond it. If you're using copyrighted images, it's not a good thing to do. Well, I like to think that, again, my Victorian images, hopefully they're not copyrighted. Now, there are non-copyright images that you can find out there. If you go to, like, just type in royalty-free images. I need to be more diligent about it myself. But my work's not getting mass-produced, but what if at some point it is? You know? And just because you're collaging something, is that changing it enough? And where you're just taking one little bit. Again, if somebody has a lawyer in the family, ask them please for us. And if you could actually send me a private message, either by email, on Facebook. And my email is stephanieanidesigns@gmail.com. Everything I have is under Stephanie Ani Designs. That would be great. I would love to know. Because I don't want to steal somebody's artwork. And it's just as simple as that. Alright, I have to go get more coffee. Now I'm really futzing. But it's kind of getting back to where I wanted it to be. Right? I'm gonna go back and smear it again. What are you doing? You just did that. It's a little gold. Okay? A little too bright. Yeah, somebody was using my exact images. Would I like that as an artist? Not if they're making a big profit off of it, I guess. Somebody's making a huge profit off of something. Like, hey, dude, you can't do that. That's my image. But it's definitely a subject I'm not afraid to talk about because I think it's one that we should be really aware of. You know, and well, where do you find your images then? Well, National Archives, I think, has a whole, Smithsonian, I think, has a whole set of royalty-free. You know, go take your own pictures of stuff. Does it make a difference if you're using just part of an image? I would think if you're using, you know, maybe just a hat or a flower from here and this from there, that it's not as egregious. I don't know though. And honestly, that's kind of the part that's been really fun about doing this, is that on this particular book, I'm really doing a lot of the artwork and imagery myself through manipulation of paints and stencils. And again, I need some coffee. It just can't hurt bringing these beautiful purples through here. Remember, you can't have light without the dark. Okay, I'll be right back. And I think we have time to install. I'm much happier with where that's at than where it began. Okay. What does it look like in there? And how do we feel about this side? I feel okay about that side. It's not as vibrant for sure, but it's not meant to be either. Let's try a little bit of the blue. And what I'm just trying to do is darken down these underneath. I'm not necessarily trying to darken down the filigree. However, if I can accentuate the cracks, that's always a bonus. This is the espresso. Not putting a bunch down there. Didn't mean to, didn't want to. I'm just wanting to take it darker into these corner edges. And I did learn a lot about using this, this is a Distress ink, so it must be a re-inker or something. I really loved the effects that this, that product gave me on my O'Keeffe page. Just adding that richness into things. And actually, now I'm looking at it, it's like, oh, maybe I need more. Don't do it. Don't do it, Steffi. I need more. Get a bigger brush. I love the brown that it gives. That's a lot. We're gonna have faith. Oh yeah, this is gonna work. Oh wow. That is just a beautiful color. I'm going to go a little bit over these. Try to take a little bit of that ink off. Bring up a little bit of that lightness again. You can't be scared. You can be scared. Don't be timid. Try it. Now, I tried it in a small spot. I truly did. And I liked what it was doing right off the bat, so I wasn't afraid. I was a little afraid. Don't let your fear stop you. And then, now, of course, I want to do it on this side. Because it takes away the brassiness of the gold, and once you take away that brassiness of the gold, then you're just like, oh wow, that's pretty. At this point, it's not going to hurt anything, right? Maybe, maybe. All right, we're going to need to go grab out another baby wipe and towel. I did it. I made it all the same. Let's hopefully see if I can bring it back. Just a touch. Oh yes, I can. Beautiful. It's a very wet page now. All right, I love that though. That did absolutely help. Let's get some. Glorious. Okay, now I'm sure I'm almost at time. Had a half a sip of coffee this morning. Let's get it in. I want this to be dried by the time I get home from work. I'm looking for my tacky glue. It's not a huge amount. We want to make sure that I have my front forward. Now, it would definitely be better to just let this one piece dry and then come back and do the other half. I know I had some clamps around here somewhere. Where are they? Here. How do you like those little guys? That's another project. Anyway. Let's not let this move too much. Just make sure that it's lined up where we want it to be. Love that, love that. Okay. And I think we just need to just let that dry as flat as I possibly can. Press it down well. I do want to make sure that it's not wrinkled. It does not appear to be wrinkled under there. So this would be suspended jewels, suspended stone. What should I call this page? Suspended. Maybe just suspended. My squirt bottle for my alcohol broke over the weekend. You know, I put a little bit of paint over the top of this, but now I want it to be as bright as I possibly can make it. I still like the outline that I did, but I want it as white as possible. Alright, I'm going to let this sit here, and I'm going to go take my shower and possibly soak my foot because I need to do that with my owie. And I will glue this, but I'm going to glue this so that it's upwards, like this. And I gotta find the clamps. I have to find the clamps to close this up. Because otherwise, you get too much ridge. And we want it to sit correctly. So. Okay. Ow. Hey everybody. Okay, I'm trying to multitask here before work and have my foot soaking. It hurts. So I'm gonna do this real quick. I absolutely love this. It's not bad. I need to just lighten up. It just hasn't turned out the way that I had wanted it to. So, and I don't know why, and it's just frustrating. It's interesting though. It is interesting, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. Alright, we are mostly dry with this side, with the bottom. It's pretty luscious. Look at that. I have a high pain tolerance, but damn. Sometimes things just hurt in this world. They just hurt. This is one of those times. Alright, I want to try to build up and make a little bridge, I guess is the best word, so that I don't have a sharp cutoff. I need it to be thinner than this for the page's sake, but I need it to have a little bit more lift there. Making a little bridge. Okay. But on the other hand too, I don't really want it to go too high up there. I need to make sure that the book's going to close. And that was already a little sticky in there. Good. This again is tacky glue. And I kind of have a feeling that I should do that over on this edge too, but I don't think that having it be that wide is a good thing. Let's see what I can do. Yes, my foot hurts. I'm trying not to tell you guys, but I have, after my accident, my foot had, my toenail had trauma to it. That's what the doctor said. And since that happened, my toenail started growing down from the inner corners, the inside, the bottom. And so they had to take the whole toenail. And so I just healed up from a sprain last week. Basically, I was in a boot last week still. Well, now the other foot is messed up and dealing with that. So it's causing a bit of pain right now. They took out my toenail. They took it away on Monday. I need some Tylenol. I can tell I have a high pain tolerance. I truly do. I have Crohn's disease, so you don't get to be a wimp with that one. But it's a different type of pain, of course. It's just shooting up through my body, and my foot's soaking. I don't know if I said that or not. I probably did. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. Sorry, just trying to distract myself while I'm doing the painful thing with the fun thing, right? Art is a great distraction from pain, from life. I think it's one of the best distractions from pain, right? If you can get into it. Alright. So I was just looking to build a transition instead of a hard line. And hopefully that's what this will do. Tacky glue takes a while to dry all the way. I'm pretty sure, you know, the bottom is dried. Let's make sure we got enough goopy goo down there. It's all going to just stay nice and closed on us. Do you need to use tacky glue? You could use E6000 very easily. I wish I was doing that little barrier in between the top and the bottom, but I'm kind of worried about that. It's really going to have to get mushed in there. Look how nice that dark cardboard just sits in there. That's perfect. I love that. I did well with that. Alright, we're going to massage these pages closed. See? You want them to line up nice and beautiful like that. Perfect. Okay, so kind of a little worried about putting a clamp on it because it's gonna do a, there we go. We don't want crimp marks, right? And if we put this down, we're gonna get crimp marks. However, if we put this over it, it should apply enough pressure to everything that it keeps it nice, tight. Now, if I could find 2 more clamps, that'd be awesome. I know I had a whole package of them with me when I was at the beach house, which means they should be here in this whole pile of stuff. Be here. Looking for more clamps. Just digging down here. Thought I had them in a plastic bag. I don't know if they got back into the plastic bag. This in here. I have the books over here. Don't splash the water around. Note to self. Okay. Fabric again. Let's see. Where, oh where are the little clampies? Oh where could they be? Drive me crazy. Up in a tree. Where can the little clamps be? Ooh. These are not technically clamps. Nope, they're not big enough. They would work over here. But then you got this. They have little serrates, and they're going to put holes in things. No holes. However, this is working quite well. Let's go ahead and pull it up here just a little bit so that it gets more into the edge. It's 1, 2, 3 strikes here out of the old ball game. See how having that transition kept that from having too hard of a ridge? That's what we wanted. My clamps. Where the hell did they go? Beautiful. That's what it was needing. A little bit of fluff. As usual. Just needs a little stays on. I'm just trying to catch the edges here just a touch more. Of course, we'll get these edges here. I think I can actually take off the clamps now. I really don't want to over clamp it. Because I need to see how it's going to lay down in the book. That is bad right there. That I need to clamp. That I need to clamp. It needs to compress a little bit too, because this is now quite compressed. And we don't want that to be compressed in one area and not compressed in the other. We want to have it all equally compressed. Remember, we're dealing with cardboard here. So it will compress. So we want to make sure it's all even. Alright, and we don't want to stress the book out too much, so let's go ahead and let it sit on its edge a bit. Let's not put too much stress on there. Do I need that?